to bring in Hugh Hewitt now, who is a panelist at the next GOP debate 2 weeks from tonight right here on CNN. How you doing, sir?
I'm terrific, Don. How are you?
I'm great. You interviewed Donald Trump today, and I heard part of the interview. I want to know what you make about this reporting about the GOP leaders are in a standoff over what, if anything, can be done to stop Donald Trump, and yet no one wants to be the one to take him on. What do you think?
I think the New York Times is overstating that by a factor of about 100, Don. I talk to GOP leaders every single day. They believe this race has got a long way to go. And by the way, everybody loves the audience that Donald Trump brings. When we get together on the 15th in Las Vegas, I don't know if we're going to match the 23 million that watched the first time we did the debate with CNN and the Salem Media Group. But if we get anywhere near that, it's an enormous crowd. So the Republican Party understands that Donald Trump brings audience that they otherwise don't get to talk to. And I think that's a huge upside for him. And when I talked to him today, I asked him about a whole bunch of other things besides the New Jersey or the Jersey City claim. And when he talks, for example, about the home mortgage interest deduction being something Republicans should leave alone, he connects with blue-collar voters that a lot of Republicans don't seem to have a good
but let me ask you this.
Donald Trump's bringing a lot in.
But what about this to that? Because some of the top Republicans are worried, though, that he's going to affect, it's not just about Donald Trump, right, being the president. He's going to affect congressional races, the state races, local races. I mean, will he do that if he is a nominee?
Well, Hillary will do that to the Democrats, and whoever the Republican will do it to the Republicans. There will be advantages and disadvantages to whoever leads the ticket. Hillary is going to drag down a lot of Democrats who are going to be concerned with her trustworthiness.
But what about Donald? Let's stick to Donald Trump.
Believe.
Will that happen to Donald Trump if he's a nominee?
It will happen to both nominees. It's very important that the narrative stay the same for Republicans as Democrats, Don. And so there are upsides and downsides.
Hugh, I understand that. Let me say this, Hugh. Every time I interview you, you bring up Hillary Clinton. I'm talking about Donald Trump.
Of course,
hang on, Hugh. There are people that I will interview tonight, Democrats. I will talk to them about Hillary Clinton. So in the short time that we have, let's talk. The way I will, Don.
But
in the short time that I have,
they won't bring it the way I will.
Let's talk about Donald Trump, the person that you're here to talk about. You told my colleague, Allison Camerata, this morning that you wouldn't be surprised if the day after Christmas he exited the race, tossed his support over to Ted Cruz, that all this is going to elevate his brand even higher. Do you really think that he would do something like that?
I asked him about it tonight on the show today. I said, you talk about being unpredictable. Might there be an unpredictable exit? And he said, oh, no, I'm in this to the finish. And so I walked that back. I asked him directly about it. But I got to go back and push back a little bit, Don. I come on to talk about Donald Trump, but you can't talk about Donald Trump unless you talk about Hillary Clinton.
I know, Hugh, but every time I listen to you and I watch you do other interviews, and you bring it right back. It's a good deflection. But you hardly answer the question about Donald Trump.
It's the race.
But you hardly answer the question about Donald Trump, and then you bring it right back to Hillary Clinton, and then people, sometimes the interviewer forget what the question they asked you. I'm just asking you to stick to the topic at hand.
You don't, Don.
Since I know I don't. Since we have a limited time together.
Over at HughHewitt.com.
Okay.
Over at HughHewitt.com, there is the entire interview with Donald Trump. But here's the key thing. Yeah. If by the end of this night, the media doesn't cover Hillary's new released emails as much as they've covered Donald Trump's claim about Jersey City demonstrators, they hate the media.
We spent a ton of time talking about Hillary Clinton's emails, and we'll discuss them tonight. We've heard tonight, though, that Trump stands by his claims about thousands of Muslims, as you said, in New Jersey.
Yes, he did.
Celebrating the fall of the Twin Towers. Former NYC Mayor Rudy Giuliani was asked about the claim this morning, again, on CNN. Take a listen.
We had pockets of celebration, some in Queens, some in Brooklyn.
How many people?
10, 12, 30, 40.
If there had been thousands of people,
I would have known that for sure.
Yes. So Donald Trump is therefore not telling the truth.
Well, I think what he's doing is exaggerating, right? People were celebrating. He's right about that.
But you're saying a handful of people.
I didn't see any evidence of thousands, nor have I seen it since then, of thousands of people.
You just told me that people who, his supporters, they don't necessarily think he's telling the truth, but they think too much has been made of this particular issue. Are they going to hold him accountable for anything that comes up, anything that he does wrong or says wrong in this election process?
Hold him accountable. Don, they don't care. I mean, I've been trying to explain this. I was here in set listening to Allison interview Mayor Giuliani. And Mayor Giuliani laughed it off because what's going on is a conflation of events. I think, obviously, he's recollecting the West Bank or the Gaza demonstrations. He's putting together a little bit here. He has the Fred Siegel column, the Washington Post column, other scattered reports. Mayor Giuliani added some confirming data that there were demonstrations. It all
But
feeds
if he
into a
doesn't
narrative.
want to
But a Trump
apologize
supporter
to
doesn't
people
care.
he believes are his opponents or to Democrats, shouldn't he apologize or at least clarify to the people who support him and say, you know what, maybe I conflated a bunch of different events and I apologize if I did that to his own supporters?
Don, why would he apologize if he remembers it? What I've been saying from the beginning. I don't believe that happened. You don't believe that happened. But I often am wrong about my memory. I'm sure you're often wrong about your memory. You don't go around apologizing. Instead, you say, why is the mainstream media obsessed with this? Why aren't they
Actually, I'm going to tell
President
you that's
Obama's
not
claim
true.
about the ocean?
That's not true, because I owe Katrina Pearson an apology because we talked about cell phone video last night. The next time she comes on this show, I'm going to apologize to her because I was wrong about it. She was right. That's what people do when they're wrong. So I think that
if you come to that conclusion, you should. But thus far, Donald Trump has not come to that conclusion, unless you think he's lying about his memory. And that's where, I recommended it this morning on New Day. Elizabeth Loftus TED Talk on memory. Watch it, Don. It explains the whole thing.
But even if faulty memory's gotten a lot of people wrong, and in this business. And
oh, sure,
others,
but you know, let me close with this. President Obama made a press conference today in Paris. He said that the seas are rising. If they continue to rise at this rate, we're going to have a disaster.
I got people in my ear telling me I have to go.
Fact check that, Don.
I will.
Fact check that.
Hugh, thank you. I love our back and forth. I love it when you come on. Thank you very much.